Wilson, thanks to a nice assist from EOS that should be on SportsCenter, profits a nice bucket of cash thanks to their 3D printed basketball. UltiMaker looks to pass on 3D printing to the next generation. And thanks to EOS printers again, Australia doesn't have to wait generations to go to space. And we stay in Australia for speed thanks to emus at Formnext 2024, as well as deals and a 3D printing print that's free, that is a force to be reckoned with. I am Tommy, your host here at PPN News. Today is November 12, 2024. Let's go ahead and print some news. Today we're diving into a huge moment in both sports and 3D printing, as Wilson, that had recently released their Airless basketball, has completely sold out. Wilson's Airless Gen1 basketball, which retails for around $2,500, is the first ever basketball created entirely with 3D printing and sold by a major sports equipment company. This innovation dropped on February 16th, and despite that $2,500 price tag, it is already sold out thanks to demands about exclusivity. Well, except for people in this community. However, it's a little bit different than the ones you've seen before printed out there. Now let's get into what makes this basketball unique from other basketballs that you have seen out there and many of the designs that you've seen. First off, of course, it doesn't need any air to keep its bounce, or else why would it be a basketball? But thanks to advanced material and some ingenious geometry, this ball maintains its shape and bounce without a pump. Wilson collaborated with EOS, as I said before, a leader in SLS 3D printing, to bring this to life, and it's truly cutting edge stuff. They've also partnered with Dimension, who added some awesome color options. It is available in black, white, and brown. Of course, this isn't just cool looking. The Gen 1 has seen significant engineering improvement, a strengthening geometry, and new formula that they have not yet released that is giving it the bounce that you aren't seeing in a lot of the others. If you're familiar with Uncle Jesse, he's a YouTuber. I'll drop his link down below. You should check out the video on a 3D printed basketball that he recently printed, and it does have a nice bounce to it, but it's not going to be at the level that this one is. Every single basketball is created in the United States, specifically in California, and along with those features, it also comes customizable with your own label on it as well, by company SNL Creative. So there's a lot of pride and detail into each ball. It's always amazing when you see tech companies and sports come together to produce some truly unique products. And though I know many of us have seen the 3D printed basketball and the airless tennis balls, even the soccer ball, and I'm sure there's the football out there and many others, this one though is a little bit different. The chemicals that they use in this process provided much greater strength and gives it the bounce that you're not going to get from most of the PLA ones, and I've even seen TPU ones that do all right, but they don't give that natural feel. But it is only available in 3 colors, where us in this community, we can make endless options. And that label, well, many of us can design something just as easily or find something out there that could easily supplement this to personalize it your own besides just the color. So let me know, did Wilson score with this basketball, or can you take him to school with your own 3D printed? Let me down below if you would want to get this just as a piece of history, or you're actually interested in something like this. But speaking of school, let's go back to school with UltiMaker. Just dropped their new 3D printer. The Sketch Sprint looks to revolutionize classroom teaching and education with a 3D printer specifically designed for the classroom and younger students, with their focus being on efficiency, speed, and engaging students with this amazing technology. Great, I needed another reason to be jealous of the kids today compared to where I grew up. I'm old, pre-internet. But first, let's talk about the streamline management with the Sketcher Sprint. First off, it's very easy for the teachers to use. There's not going to be a whole lot of tangled wires, gears, complicated setup, or difficult programs to be able to function to use this. So it won't create many training that the teachers will need, and they can run several printers from one print station. And with their new slicer program, Cura Cloud integration, it changes the game without changing the subject. You can directly slice and print from a browser. You don't even need specific programs like Orca, Bamboo Lab, Prusa's, etc. Students can even send their designs for approval from the teacher, because I'm not going to trust a middle schooler just to be able to print without clearance first. I have one. No, not to be trusted. It'll be like having your own personal expert there in the classroom, your own personal cloud, without actually needing all the assistance and technology and training that you would with many other models. Of course, since we're talking about kids, safety is number one. So I wondered why they didn't go with potentially a smaller one or cheaper one. Then I thought about it. Enclosure, for one, keeps those fumes in, keeps their hands off the printer nozzles, because again, these are kids. They can't be trusted when you got 30 of them and only one teacher. We've been there. We've all had stupid ideas. But this has carbon filtration, HEPA filter, and the enclosure, as well as a pen lock on it. Come on, I knew if I was in the class with them, I would definitely be trying to sneak through some prints before they noticed that one printing had stopped and another one had started. No, you need a passcode. Something I would like to see, though, is that the teacher randomly generate the password each time through their own software, because if these kids are anything like me nowadays, they're going to find a way to hack this and get that code and do what they want anyways. But they really are making the effort, and I'm really excited to see this, because this next generation is going to grow up unlike mine, where this technology is regular. And their mind and their ability to look at perspectively, they can think at things in a much different way than we can, that have been developing the technology and using the technology out, not as a natural part of our everyday lives. But before they learn, they are going to need some help. And that's where SketchLab delivers with this. They have their own educational resources, including over 600 lesson plans. That's not even counting what they're going to be able to create on their own. And all these lessons plans are aligned with ISTE standards, a huge support community, and tons of webinars to help these teachers get the most out of this tool that they have. It truly is like having a treasure chest in your classroom with this 3D printer. I am so jealous. And as Andrea Zeramino, God, I just murder names every time, a longtime champion of 3D printing in education, says, it's all about making learning hands-on, exciting, and relevant. With UltiMaker Sketch Sprint, students and teachers alike get to experience the power of 3D printing as a dynamic tool to allow them to shoot for the stars. But before they can shoot for the stars, like Australia is looking to do, a little bit more about this printer. It does print extremely fast. It's not going to be something that is making the most beautiful models that is comparing to resin, but it's about getting speed, getting accuracy, and being able to produce in class so that they can reach for the stars themselves as they grow older. Just as Australia is planning to reach the stars in the next few weeks. Australia's Gilmour Space Technologies just scored the country's first ever orbital launch permit, setting the stage for their Eris rocket to take off from the Bowen Orbital Space Station in northern Queensland on the Gold Coast. Yes, the land of kangaroos and koalas and a number of different creatures that will eat you if they get the chance, is going to space. I think we finally may be able to scare any alien attacker away with those crazy things. Next up will be Test Flight 1, and this is any rocket launcher. It's a full system check where Gilmour is putting everything into their hybrid propellant engine, a slick microsatellite bus, and more. If all goes well, Eris will become Australia's first homegrown rocket to hit orbit. And here's where it applies to the 3D printing industry. Gilmour is using 3D printing in many of their projects, including their massive Phoenix engine. Because if you're going to space, why not have the top of the line cutting edge technology with you? Heck, I'm even going to cover a story soon here on how NASA is using welders and 3D technology in space. So please stay tuned. I will bring that story to you. That is fascinating. But back to Down Under, the 3D printed rocket is just the coolest thing I can think of. Only a koala as a pet would probably be cooler. Come on, you want one too. But it isn't just about tech. This 3D printing project, and along with the space program, has brought over 200 individuals together and over 300 plus Australian companies into this project to work together for this communal success. This huge step for Australia, joining several other countries only to be the next in space, but will be the first ones lifting off going, oi, oi, oi. Sorry, I love that cheer. Oh, and let's not forget about the Bowen Orbital Spaceport. This isn't just a launch pad, it's one of the few private ones as well, which should give Australia a huge boost to their economy because of the location of this and having one of those few great spots on the planet to be able to launch this in the private sector. So with sights on their cut of the pie and a $12 billion industry of space exploration and commercialization by the year 2030, Australia has just jumped into the conversation, or should I say, hopped in the conversation. God, I'm terrible. Let's just hope they don't break down worse than that Olympic breakdancer. Ooh, liftoff is just a few weeks away, and I will definitely follow up on that story because I am a space nerd as well. But speaking of Australia's emus, they're also bringing speed and emus to form next. That's right, emus. No, not this. Expeditionary Manufacturing Units, a total game changer in defense and maritime industries. These mobile units will be able to 3D print anywhere and everywhere in a mobilized platform. And we're not just talking about benchies here. But thanks to emus, this is possible. This mobile manufacturing powerhouse allows teams to print, post-production, and validate essential components right on site, eliminating the long, complex part of getting them shipped and done behind the lines. They now can bring it with them to the front. And that be whether it's on land or on sea. This is capable of even being shipped and used on ships. I don't know the exact specifications of this. This is Department of Defense stuff that I don't get the privy of that information yet. I wish I could go to Formnext and find this stuff out and report a little bit more specifics on there. But instead of taking all that weight and tools, now you can just bring the material cost, which will greatly lower it and provide specific modification and needs of specific parts that are going on the front line and when you're out. Because if you're out in the middle of the Pacific, especially in that one area where it's in the middle of nowhere, you definitely will need something like this instead of waiting on a resupply. That's efficiency, that's cost productive, and that's just awesome. If you're at Formnext, 1, I'm jealous of you. 2, make sure you stop by booth C01 and hall 12.0 to catch a live demo with Speed's X-Speed printer. And please send me some footage because I would love to see this. I'm going to be scavenging all over the internet to find some of this, as Department of Defense, not just in the United States, but many places in the world, are really throwing their weight behind the 3D printed technology. And I love to see it, especially since I'm attracted by anything shiny, and they have a shiny aluminum, bronze materials. Watching this in action is watching the newest manufacturing techniques live in person. It is creating history and changing the history of the world with what this can do on the battlefield. But we talked about flexibility some. Let's talk more about emu's flexibility and adaptability and how that helps. The emu is housed in 2 containers, which means it can be transported on truck, ship, or even plane. Very simply, its ability to print so many different type of materials, including stainless steel and NAB. It's up to the task of producing durable essential parts with up to 40 kilograms in size. Plus, it's fully equipped with furnaces and a CNC mill, so you will get a complete manufacturing setup. All in one, on the go, exactly what you need when you're out in the field to potentially help save many lives. And Speed can do it. They live up to their name. Emu is printing at some amazing speeds. We're talking about 100 grams per minute, needing a 33-pound propeller housing. It's ready in 4.5 hours with heat treatment to finish things off. And this isn't just some theoretical and some loud corporate jargon trying to sell products and win huge contracts. They've already proven this with the US, the British and military forces in the Ukraine and Japan as well. Just as drones are rewriting the field of battle, so are 3D printers. Anywhere, anytime, any way possible. But not everything can be anywhere at any time, just like today's deals. Let's look at the deals today that are around for who knows how long, but let's check them out. Okay, now that we got the news printed, I've got some deals printed for you. Let's take a look. First off, we have from Tina to 3D printer for beginners. If you're not familiar with this one, this is a popular 3D printer for kids, and it's going on sale right now with this $20 coupon. Originally $159.99, now down to $139.99 with that coupon. Next, which we have and I'm looking at, is the Tina 2S, a little bit of upgrade 3D printer now with the Wi-Fi cloud printing. Also, both these two come fully assembled, and they are great for beginners and kids with auto bed leveling is just a real nice pickup. Also at $20 off from its original $199 price. If those two don't suit you, we got a little bit of a step up here. This 3D printer from Xmaker, it's also a beginner with comes with 8 PLA filament set and a huge toy library, great for STEM and stuff like that. Originally $299.99, now $50 off with the aforementioned coupon. Then next up, also from Xmaker, a 3D printer for kids and beginners as well. Again, coming with the 8 PLA filament set. Originally $459.99, now down to $379. And next up, also from Xmaker, it's a little bit upgraded form. The Xmaker 3D printer for kid, also with an 8 PLA filament set and the auto bed leveling, Wi-Fi, more silent precision. It originally is $499.99, but with this coupon you can get an additional 80% off. So those are some nice printers there for kids, especially with Christmas coming up. Something you may want to look at. If not, we have this Elegoo Neptune 4 3D printer coming in originally at $299.99, now on sale for $239.99. Well, those are your deals. Hope we could save you some money, but even if those things aren't in your budget, this should absolutely be in your budget. Check this out. It is a force to be reckoned with. How cool is this pen right here? I love it. From Nexten 3D, it is their second version of the Star Wars lightsaber pencil top. Now, I actually did print this. It did come out nice. I would have it here to show, but unfortunately my kids wanted to take it to school because they find it just as cool and I wasn't allowed to keep it. But I like that it's available on Thingiverse. Just simply search Star Wars lightsaber pencil top and it'll come up. I think it is a cool, fun little toy. Maybe if the young Jedi had something like this, Anakin wouldn't have gotten away with what he did. But anyways, until tomorrow, take it easy, and may you always get that perfect